But, to me, these things are really it's part of a political agenda. It is not based on making a difference to the lives of people. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's okay. You can be for it, against it. But in a country like this where there's so much that needs to be done, where so much has to be invested in making a real difference to people, regardless of what their city or their street is called, that is not where we are getting enough attention. The issue of cost is a very minor part of it. It's even though we are a poor country and we shouldn't be spending money on things like this, I think the issue is that it started off with this belief that in order to overcome the impact of colonialism, and at that point it was only described as the British period, one had to shed many of the things that were imposed by the British. Okay.
Yeah.
So as part of that, the early name changing, Madras became Chennai, Bombay became a little later Mumbai, and a few others. That was part of that belief, But and it was political, obviously, because the people in power at that time, a lot of it was the Congress party, but also other parties. I think it was bringing about these kind of what I would see almost like superficial changes as signifying that India has now moved beyond colonialism, and it's becoming its own country. But India, of course, was still India. It hadn't been, even though in the constitution it says India, that is Bharat, officially it's not, when our delegations go abroad, they don't say Bharat, they say India,
Yeah.
So the biggest change would have been if they had said like Cambodia became Kampuchea, if at that point, as part of this whole process, they also took out India, which is, an anglicized, an English word. But it didn't happen. So it's happened piecemeal over time. And it seems to accelerate more when there is a party in power which believes that its legitimacy is based on convincing people that this is an important thing to actually put away all vestiges of colonialism, even to the point of even removing some of the structures, buildings in some instances. Luckily in Bombay and Chennai, this hasn't happened, nor in Bangalore. But it could come to that at any point, In Delhi, certainly it's happened with, Parliament House, now new Parliament House, the whole, Rajpath and the whole vista has been changed. This is all part of this thing of asserting. And of course, the additional thing that's happened now is the assertion is not only during British colonialism, but it's been redefined as 1,000 years of colonialism, which includes the Mughal Empire. Which is actually ahistorical because the Mughal Empire did not occupy all of India. And so you're talking about some very specific regions, but yet that is the way the BJP and Narendra Modi and others have articulated it. And hence we are finding now there's an acceleration of this kind of change. So Allahabad, for instance, has become Prayagraj. Here in Maharashtra, we have, Aurangabad, which was named after Aurangzeb, obviously, who was then the emperor. Which has become Chhatrapati Shambhaji Nagar or some really big, long name. Unlike, say, Mumbai and Bombay, which at least close enough. Mumbai is the way it was said in Marathi, so it's different. Or Pune became Pune, which is again the Marathi equivalent of Pune. This is like completely different names. Our train stations here in Bombay, in Mumbai, are being changed with names that people don't relate to. All our road names have been changed. So, all the old names, Nepean Sea Road, Warden Road, all that has gone to some LD Ruparel Mar, Jagannath So-and-so Mar, Shankar Shet Mar, etc. 1990 really marks the moment. It's not as if it was not there earlier. These sensibilities were there. But the mobilization of these sensibilities began in 1990 with the Rath Yatra. I mean, all the events leading up to 1990 and thereafter. I mean, there are many other things that one can put in, but, in a nationwide context. And so 95, for instance, the Shiv Sena and the BJP came to power in Maharashtra. And one of the first things they did was change the name of Bombay to Mumbai.
Okay.
And then it went on after that. And now the change of names has nothing to do with the British. Now it is the Mughals. Whatever has a Muslim sounding name, they have to change it and Hinduize it. Deluded ourselves into believing that we are a non-violent society. We are not. We are a very violent society. Look at our history. Look at even, the Hindu,
the
legends.
Chola kingdom.
We have with Mahabharata and Ramayana, there's lots of violence in those.
Yeah.
All these stories that we've read and heard, there's war, there's violence, and of the worst kind, So we are a very violent society, and the violence that we see in the public space is only about 10% of the real violence, which is taking place within our families, within our homes. Women experience the most violence within their homes in India. So my hope is that, a new next generation will take this forward. And, the kind of the response to the Citizenship Amendment Act, for instance, the way young people came out, their creativity in trying to explain what this was all and what it would lead to in India, on the streets, in demonstrations, in plays. It was fabulous to watch. It was fabulous to see that, and these are people who were not going to be directly affected, but still they understood how dangerous it was for India to have something like this and to divide the country in this way, and they objected to it. The farmers' agitation, the way people backed it and participated in it, and not all of them were farmers, still young people went to participate because they understood what was going on. So I think in that sense there is hope. And even this, what has recently happened in Calcutta with rape, young people have come out, young doctors have come out, and they've talked about the fact that the public space is unsafe for women, that it's not just a matter of CCTV cameras, but the whole attitude towards a woman being out in the public space. This is a conversation that is now going on, and a demand for change. And they're not afraid. They went out and they demonstrated despite, hostility of the state in that case. So I don't think all is lost. I mean, I really feel that, there are the next generation, the present generation, our old generation, there's still people there who are fighting for a change for India and for our society. But it's a struggle. And it becomes more difficult when politics itself reinforces and justifies violence of citizens against citizens just because they are different. I think that poison is difficult to fight against, but it can be. I mean, apartheid ended in South Africa, so I mean, we can change these things. Nothing is impossible. And I think we must work on that belief that is possible.